The 2023 MotoGP season kicked off with a bang with visits to Portimao and Termas de Rio Hondo. With chock-a-block action everywhere you looked, you may not have caught everything that happened on track, so these are your other battles from the Portuguese and Argentina Grand Prix. It was Pecco perfection at the Algarve International Circuit as reigning world champion Bagnaia took a double victory. Maverick Viñales and Marco Bezzecchi joined him on the podium on Sunday, while it was a roller coaster race in deciding who finished fourth. An aggressive start from Brad Binder saw him shunt Aprilia's Aleix Espargaro out of the way, while Alex Marquez followed the South African through. They both went past Johan Zarco before benefiting from a big crash involving Marc Marquez and Miguel Oliveira to move up to 5th and 6th place. Ahead of them, Marco Bezzecchi had demoted Jack Miller to outside the podium positions, beginning a brilliant race-long battle for 4th. A mistake from the Aussie rider at turn 5 handed the early initiative to Alex Marquez, and it stayed that way for 10 laps before the KTM rider fought his way back. Over the next 3 laps, P4 exchanged hands between the two before Brad Binder got involved and stuck a move on Marquez on lap 21. While the battle at the front of this group was ongoing, Johan Zarco and Aleix Espargaro were going wheel to wheel a couple places further back. The Aprilia rider got onto the coattails of Zarco on lap 15 when he powered by Luca Marini on the approach into turn 1. Having caught up with the GP23 ahead of him, he then went by the Pramac rider on lap 21, but his lead didn't last with the Frenchman firing back 1 lap later. Espargaro wasn't going down without a fight, once again claiming P7 with 2 laps remaining. However, that was as good as it was to get for the number 41, with Zarco moving through and setting his sights on the riders ahead. Fabio Quartararo was also part of the battle at this stage, having got through on Luca Marini shortly before. He capitalised on an Espargaro error at turn 13 to help secure an 8th place finish, with the Aprilia rider coming home 9th. With 1 lap to go, the battle for 4th raged on, and it was Zarco who displayed the best late race pace. In a brilliant finale, he first shot by Jack Miller down into turn 1, then he took the other KTM at turn 11, with Brad Binder unable to respond, and to complete a sensational final lap, he fired it up the inside of Alex Marquez at turn 14 to take 4th place in the season opener. One week later, MotoGP returned to Termas de Rio Hondo for the Argentina Grand Prix. Marco Bezzecchi made history with his wet weather win, with Johan Zarco and Alex Marquez getting themselves onto the podium. Outside of the top 3, there were plenty of other battles to keep us entertained. Once again, Jack Miller was in the thick of the action. The factory KTM rider started 16th on the grid, but immediately made up some position thanks to a strong launch from the line, and then firing by Jorge Martin and Taka Nakagami on the 3rd lap. Soon after, he went through on Johan Zarco at turn 7 for P7, but just 3 laps later, the Frenchman regained the position at the same corner, while it soon turned into double trouble as he then dropped behind the other Pramac on lap 11. Miller managed to take P8 back after a battle with Gresini's Fabio Di Giannantonio, and the number 43 went on to finish 6th, thanks to Pecco Bagnaia's crash and a late overtake on Alex Rins. As for the LCR Honda rider, he too had an eventful day in Argentina. A strong opening lap saw him climb 5 places from P12 to P7, while he then made a move through on Aleix Espargaro. His excellent first laps continued as he then got the better of Zarco before chasing down Di Giannantonio on lap 10 to move into 5th place. Unfortunately for Rins, he struggled to maintain his early momentum and began to slide down the pecking order. Both Zarco and Martin pegged him back by the end of lap 14 before Miller made his move. The Spanish rider then lost out to Fabio Quartararo at the opening turn of the 20th lap, before Luca Marini pinched P8 off of him with 4 remaining. Rins couldn't find a response and he took the checkered flag in 9th. For Fabio Quartararo, it has been a difficult start to the season, with the 2021 world champion yet to compete at the business end of a race. In Argentina, hopes of a podium were quickly dashed as he clashed with Taka Nakagami, which forced him wide, leaving him at the back of the pack in P16. The Yamaha rider quickly went about salvaging crucial championship points. On lap 3 he got through on the inside of Raul Fernandez before getting some minor revenge on Nakagami with an overtake. Next up was rookie Augusto Fernandez on lap 10, while in the following 2 laps he went through on both factory Aprilias. First was Aleix Espargaro and then Maverick Viñales, while the Gian Antonio dropped behind the M1 on lap 16. The French rider still wasn't done, finding a move past Marini through turns 9 and 10 with his final overtake coming on Alex Rins at turn 1, which helped him seal a 7th place finish and 9 crucial championship points. It was certainly an exciting return to action across the first 2 rounds of the 2023 season, and there is still plenty more to come. Next up is the Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas, which gets underway on April 14th. Make sure you tune in then.